talk about stand-up aggression, there's different styles of how we can position our hands. You know, if this is a challenge match, mixed martial arts match, or a self-defense scenario, there's going to be different postures to assume. So as an example, we would say this is more of a classical approach. You know, this is what we saw Hoist Gracie doing, you know, leading with the front hand, always measuring the distance here. So this is one approach. Another approach is more of a modern approach. You see more like a mixed martial arts, a boxing approach. In the self-defense, you know, one major reference point is going to be inside position, inside, controlling the inside space. So if we have a self-defense scenario, we're talking with someone, we understand that we need to be aware of the distance. I need to be aware of my body positioning. You know, I always want to be in base, take a small step back. And I don't necessarily want to put my hands up to engage in a fight. I want to maybe talk this out. But we don't talk with our hands in our pockets, you know? So I have my hands in front of me, we're talking. If something were to happen, I need to make sure that I control the inside position. I control the inside space, you know? And one telltale sign is if my opponent is stepping back, you know, this is an issue. That step back represents power on that side. You know, so as we're talking, now I have like a red flag. And if something does happen, I want to step inside and I control the inside space. Putting my hands on his bicep, shoulder, bicep, this is going to help deflect any of the power. And I step in, not with my head up, so I get a headbutt, you know. Step in, head in, chin tucked in, and I close the gap. And I continue to step in and connect my hip to his hip. I want to control the clinch. Hip close to his hip. I'll control his arm, pinching my elbow, grabbing the tricep, hugging the hip. And we're going to go with calf to calf. For the takedown. So, one more time. You could have the students practice some conversation here. Get them used to talking to their hands. With their hands, you know, sometimes people are very awkward with their hands. Get them to be comfortable, talk. It's a form of body language, you know. So we're talking, he's going to go to slap me, surprisingly. I'm going to step inside. And now my reference point is my hips. I want to connect my hip to his hip. Control this arm. And now if the leg, if I can comfortably hook my leg, hook his leg calf to calf, I do it. But I'm not comfortable here. So I'm going to take a little support step. Take a little bit of a support step, and now I feel a little bit more comfortable to go calf to calf, you know. So calf to calf, I lift his leg off the ground, and now I'm going to dump him towards the dead leg. I do that with my head, you know. Lean my body, my shoulder, my head. I lean him to that direction. I'm pulling him down. And I control my descent. I don't want to fall on top of him and get rolled. So I base my hands out, knees to the armpits. This would be the ideal landing spot. So move number 2 is we're going to stop and go to the knees to practice the rear naked choke. We're going to apply this choke in move number 3. But move number 2 is the rear naked choke. So you can practice this with my training partner on his knees. I'm going to get behind him a little bit on the side. And I'm going to practice applying the choke. So when I enter in, I'm going to make my hand to a fist, you know. I don't want to enter with my hands in, there's just so much more that can get stuck on the inside, you know. Maybe stuck in his beard or something. Make a fist and it's go tight around his neck. And this is going to be a landing spot for my hand, his trap muscle here. Okay, because if I grab this and he's struggling to pull my hand off, now I have something that's making this stick, you know, as opposed to not having any reference point. And he can kind of pry that off easier, you know. So this is going to stick. And now I'm going to enter through the back here. as I enter, I'm trying to make a connection with that hand that was on the trap. I need to transfer it to my bicep. But I gotta be very careful I don't give him this hand. You know, if he grabs the hand, he neutralizes the choke. So I have to kind of hide this on the way in and then look for this connection here. And I'm gonna put my head next to his head. Why? Because it protects this hand. Again, if this hand is not protected and he grabs it, it's gonna take away my choke. So again, I'm gonna reach, connection. Come from the back, connection. Head to head, connection. Now from here, I'm gonna actually like pull him into me with my back muscles. I pull him into me, and then I start to squeeze. So I pull him in, making this movement with my back muscles, and then I pinch my elbows tight for the rear naked choke. So move number 3. Let's just go through it. You're gonna go to your side. Let's go this way. Stop on the side. Now you're gonna go all the way. Okay, just like that. So let's go. Move number 3 is front mount to rear mount transition. So as we sit up and we start to look for the finish, we're always aware that the opponent has the ability to roll to their stomach, you know. And typically, if you're striking from here, that's what you can expect, you know. Naturally, you don't want to sit here and get punched in the face. So the sign of your opponent turning to his belly is always going to be like one hand crossing. That's like the first sign that this guy is starting to commit to go to the all fours position, you know. So when I see that, you know, I have to prepare. You know, one way to make this transition easy is to put your hands on the floor. You know, so as he goes, I switch to what we call modified mount position. I have my heel close to his belly, my knee is close to the top of his shoulder. And this is a position that we can control him from. But he might not stay there, you know, he might continue to go. And if he does, now my leg on this side is gonna have to transition inside. And I have to be careful of keeping all my weight high. I have to push my weight backwards so it doesn't roll me off. So once I push my weight here, I'm going to look to put the seatbelt control on my opponent. One thing you can do here is roll over your shoulder, flaring that hook, to put him in this scenario here where we have more control. No risk of him standing up, you know. So from here we can have the guys work on that transition to the rear naked choke. Grab the trap. Sometimes this hand is going to be squeezing it or something, you know. So just pulling it straight backward will free it. And now I'm going to look to make that connection, make this connection, head to head, choke. So one more time. So having our hands on the mat is going to be really important to make this transition a smooth one, you know. So if I'm going here and I see that his arm is transitioning, I put the hands on the mat. This makes my transition easier. And if he continues to go, again, put the hooks in, put the weight back, put the seatbelt on. Some strong guys might be able to stand up. So to prevent him from standing, I want to roll him onto his butt I want to take him off his knees. So the hand that's going over his shoulder, I'm gonna like roll on that side, kicking the hook up. Now I take him off his knees, and it gives me more control over him. Again, grab the trap, free your arm, connection, 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 choke. So those 3 moves.